Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jim DeFede, and tonight CBS Miami is proud to present a debate on Amendment 3, which would legalize marijuana for anyone 21 years or older. But in order to pass, the measure needs 60% approval. Tens of millions of dollars are being spent by both sides, filling the airways with commercials. Tonight we are going to try and cut through the smoke, see what I did there, and get to the facts. Joining me tonight are the representatives from both campaigns. Opposing Amendment 3 is Dr. Jessica Spencer. She is the Director of Advocacy for the No on 3 campaign. She specializes in substance abuse prevention, and she previously led the campaign against medical marijuana, which did ultimately pass. And in support of the amendment is Republican State Senator Joe Gruters. A former chair of the Republican Party of Florida, Gruters has served in the legislature since 2016 and is running to be the state's chief financial officer in 2026. I want to thank you both for coming in. Just, again, we're billing this as a debate, but more than anything, I want this to be a conversation. There's no set rules about you talk for 1 minute and you respond in 30 seconds. You know, I do want to try to get this, you know, as a conversation. If I think you're filibustering, I'll cut you off. But generally, let's just have a good conversation, because I do think this is an important issue that has a lot of ramifications, both financial and personal, for people. So, and by the way, Doctor, it's okay if I call you Jessica, and
Please.
Senator, if I call you Joe? Okay.
Yes,
Jessica, let me start with you. You know, we were talking, you've been here before. You were here previously when you were campaigning against the medical marijuana amendments. Those ultimately passed in 2016. What's your argument today, given that we did pass medical marijuana? I'm not sure we saw the negative effects that some people thought we were going to. Why are you opposed to this amendment?
Right, well, thank you again for having us. Very excited to be here. We have a medical marijuana program that is working well. We do not need recreational marijuana. There are significant issues with this constitutional amendment, mostly the fact that it's a constitutional amendment. It is something that the language as written would be forever enshrined in our Constitution, and we would not be able to legislate our way out of it. Now, my opponent and other individuals have stated, well, yes, we can. The legislature can fix the issues that they are already identifying as a problem with the amendment, and I'm sure we'll get to those tonight. So my biggest concern is the fact that it is a constitutional amendment. We can't legislate our way out of the issues and the problems that we see. It is absolutely corporate greed. It is not for personal and just for individuals. This is corporate greed. Let me
bring Joe. And Joe, I want to hear your arguments for it, but I do, to her point, there are currently, well, I checked, 883,000 medical marijuana patients. There's roughly 650 licensed dispensaries for medical marijuana. It seems that if someone wants to find a way to get medical marijuana, they can. Why do we need to broaden it to make it for recreational marijuana as well?
Well, you just hit the point that I was going to make. We have 850,000 people, almost a million people that use the medical marijuana license card right now. There's another almost 2 million people that use marijuana through illicit markets, and that's the problem. That's what this debate's all about. It's about safety. It's about making sure that people could have access to a safe product. And the more, if we pass this, it's safety, it's decriminalization. 16,000 people were arrested last year here in the state of Florida on minor possession of marijuana. It's long overdue that we get rid of that. And ultimately, as the legislature, we will control the time, place, and manner that this passes. And so for me, but ultimately, it's about, if you believe at home that if you know somebody that uses marijuana, and then if you know somebody that uses marijuana outside of the medical dispensaries, they can get arrested, and they may be taking a substance, a product that has laced with fentanyl or some other drug, and people are dying.
So Jessica, let's touch on that point.
Sure.
Isn't it better for people to be able to buy marijuana from a licensed dispensary that they may know where it came from, rather than buy it from a friend of a friend who has a guy who sells some dope?
You would certainly think so, but unfortunately in the states that have recreational marijuana, we do not see the black market going away. We actually see it flourishing, because people are going to seek out the less expensive option. You cannot make marijuana more safe.
Go ahead. And just to point that, Colorado, where they passed it, and it's talked about a lot, 99% of the product that's purchased is through the regulated legal market. In what I just said at the beginning of this conversation, we had 33% out of, think about it, 1 million versus 2 million, legal versus illicit users, right? That's 33% versus 66%. And then in Colorado, studies have shown that 99% of the marijuana that's consumed is purchased at a legal regulated market, to 1%. Think about it, 33 to the 66 and 99 to 1. Huge difference.
I want to, so much of the conversation is often about the safety of the product or the revenue, and we'll get to that in a second. But when I tried to do a deep dive in preparing for this, the health effects of this, and I guess I want to direct that question to you. I looked at a recent study from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and the science on this isn't really clear, but one thing that they say is that cannabis policy often focuses on regulating sales and revenue first and protecting health concerns second. Part of your concern on this amendment is what the health effects could be if we increase marijuana use for individuals.
Sure. So for me personally, and the work that I do in substance use prevention and treatment and intervention, yes, I'm absolutely concerned about the potency. I'm concerned that these products are not the products of the 60s and 70s. These are upwards of 35% THC for the raw herbal flower material, and then we're looking at 70 to 90% for the oils, the shatter, those types of things. There are certain medical issues and concerns that we have, and again I go back to nothing in the amendment, which is why reading the amendment is key. Nothing in the amendment allows us to put caps on potency. It doesn't say it in here, it doesn't outline it, and so there is a grave concern with these products that I don't know where Joe is getting the 99% from, because if you look at the Rocky Mountain HIDTA report, people are getting quite a bit of marijuana from the black market. I can imagine that's not being reported.
Well, I want to go to the point you just raised. You're a legislator. You very well may even try to write the enacting legislation if this passes. She says that you won't be able to regulate potency levels, that there are restrictions on what you can do because it's a constitutional amendment. Are you limited in what you can write as a legislator?
Absolutely not, because if you think about all the constitutional amendments we've passed over the years. Think about this. We have a total of 6 on the ballot this year. What happens every time if the voters pass an amendment, it then goes to the legislature for the implementing language. We will have regulation, and the great thing about living in Florida, we're going to do this the Florida way. We're going to be able to put the guardrails up. I'm the guy who fought to ban smoking on public beaches for 6 years. I want no public consumption, no public smoking, zero tolerance while driving. We could put these regulations. The states that went early, that are led by the Democrats, by the way, the Colorado, New York, they did poorly. Conservative states, Missouri, Ohio, Arizona, they've done it the right way. We could follow their models, but make it even better. We have Governor Ron DeSantis, a super conservative members of the legislature. We're going to do this the right way, but we're going to do this the Florida way.
All right, I'm going to hold it here, and this is a good place to take a break, because when we come back, I want to talk about how Governor Ron DeSantis is fighting this issue and whether or not he's playing fair. So let's take a break here. We'll come back with this debate on Amendment 3. Stay with us.
We put out a statement that we can live with the marijuana. It's got to be a certain age. Got to be a certain age to buy it. It's got to be done in a very concerted, lawful way. And the way they're doing it in Florida, I think, is going to be actually good. It's going to be very good.
All right, that was former President Donald Trump recently coming out in support of Florida's Amendment 3. We are back here for a debate on that amendment, joined by Dr. Jessica Spencer, and who is against it, and State Senator Joe Gruters, who is a supporter. Jessica, before we went to break, you wanted to respond to something that Joe said, so go ahead.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Joe is a conservative. He's mentioning Governor DeSantis. He's mentioning these things that the legislature can do, when, Joe, you know that's not true. You have to, as a strict constructionist, as a conservative, you know that you can only write implementing bills that are consistent with the language in the amendment. The things that you're referencing it wouldn't be consistent with the language in the amendment. And I think the viewers really need to understand that that is the fact of the matter. And every time the legislature puts something up, it always gets litigated.
I'll give you a quick chance to respond, then I want to move on.
It's like every other constitutional amendment that's ever been passed. We will be able to legislate. We will be able to do an implementing bill. We will do this the right way. We will put the guardrails up, and we'll do this right.
We talked about Governor DeSantis a second ago, and Governor DeSantis has not just come out against this amendment, but he is using the Florida Department of Transportation to basically run ads against the amendment. He's also doing it against Amendment 4, the abortion amendment. It's about $15.5 million that he's spending of state tax dollars to oppose and tell voters in the state how they should vote. I'm going to start with you, Joe. Is Governor DeSantis outside the lines here by using state government resources like the Department of Transportation, the Department of Health, to tell voters? Is this propaganda that he's using?
Well, I'll say the Governor DeSantis, I think he's doing a great job as governor, but no matter where I personally stand on issues, I don't think we should use public tax dollars on propaganda, and that's what I think this is. I think it sets a bad precedent for administrations moving forward, and we should never use, listen, we live in a democracy at the end of the day. We should never spend tax dollars on political ads.
So you do think this is propaganda?
I do.
All right. I want to give you a chance to, because you find yourself with strange bedfellows here with the governor on this, right?
I've never met him, so I don't know. This is not the fundraising, the financing, all of that stuff. I have nothing to do with it. I'm merely a spokesperson.
There was a bill last year, Senate Bill 1698. Actually, it was earlier this year.
Okay.
DeSantis vetoed that bill, which would have regulated the hemp industry.
Okay.
Right? So this was the hemp industry bill. And by the way, that's sort of what's lurking in the shadow is you've got the hemp industry, which has really been able to sell products, which I'm guessing you're probably not that keen on.
No.
And yet the governor vetoed a bill to regulate the hemp industry, and the hemp industry then donated millions of dollars to help finance this campaign against Amendment 3. Not financing you. I don't want to suggest that.
Right.
But I want to be clear about that. But did you think DeSantis made a mistake vetoing the hemp bill?
Didn't follow it. I do obviously have an issue with hemp products because they're high THC. That's a whole nother issue, again, because we're focusing on this particular amendment. We, as the Vote No on 3, did not receive any funding from the hemp industry, so I don't know where that information comes from. All of our information is on the website.
Yeah,
but again,
it's a separate PAC that the governor created that he's using, so it's not the No on 3 campaign. I'll be very clear about that. But I do want to ask, if this amendment fails, do you think the hemp industry needs to be regulated as well?
I do. I'm not here to talk about the hemp industry. I would love to talk about the hemp industry in another.
Here's the only reason why I bring it, and then I want to bring you in as well, is because part of the argument that people are making against Amendment 3 is if people want to be able to have those types of experiences, you can get it through CBDs, Delta 8, Delta 9, and so therefore, you don't want to do that. Joe, go ahead.
Jim, thanks. It all goes back to safety. It's about protecting our children. What the hemp bill did, I voted for it numerous times in committees and on the floor, and I think it passed unanimously in the Florida Senate. And I think it had a couple of no votes in the House, and I think it was actually Moody's top priority. And you know why? Because it's about protecting the kids. It's if you see those, and a lot of people think that the medical dispensaries is where you see the marijuana leaves on the outside and THC signs. It's not. Those are the hemp stores, and they're selling these THC products, and they're selling them with candies, things marketed to kids. And what we were doing with that specific bill is we were tightening the language up to say you can only buy certain products that are approved by the FDA. We're getting rid of it because this is the big difference between a regulated market and an unregulated market. Right now, the medical marijuana industry is regulated, and as a result, their packaging, every single item has to be individually marked, individually packaged. There's no colors. They don't call them gummies. They're like gels. They do a job to make sure that people are protected, kids are protected. The hemp industry and that bill, it should have been passed. Like I said, it was unanimous in the Senate.
Do you think that he did not Do you think that he vetoed that bill just to keep the hemp industry alive to fight the marijuana amendment?
I don't believe the governor would do that, but I think that I think it was a mistake, and I think we have to go back and educate him on why we should pass a bill and why the whole thing. Again, it's all about protecting the kids and it's about safety.
I think Joe is also where Joe's also wants us to not focus on is the fact that that's all well and good, but the language in here doesn't say anything about THC content marketing to kids. So if you try to put a bill in place to help protect our children, as you say you're interested in, there is no language in here that would allow you to do that. In fact, nothing is written about marketing kids, nothing. So you can say all day long that we're going to legislate and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But the fact of the matter is the language of the amendment, it wouldn't be consistent, and you cannot do that. It will be vetoed. It'll be shot down.
It will not be vetoed. He'll sign it. My colleagues are going to pass an implementing bill. Listen, this amendment's going to pass. We're going to pass a strong implementing bill because at the end of the day, we have broad police powers to protect the safety, welfare, and health of our citizens. That's the bottom line. Every constitutional amendment that's ever been passed, the legislature has to pass an implementing bill. That's what will happen.
Do you think this creates a monopoly? That word has been key, been thrown around a lot. I don't know if you go that far, because True Leave is now suing some of the campaigns against them, saying that the state GOP, which is running an ads, claiming that this would create a monopoly.
Yeah,
is that part of your argument or not?
It's certainly corporate greed. I mean, you do not spend over $100 million to, and we'll go to the home grow piece, to create backyard competitors. You spend that much money, and we will, but you spend that much money to create a consumer base.
I want to bring you in on this. True Leave has filed a defamation suit against the Florida GOP. You used to be the chair of the GOP, for creating ads that basically say that this would create a monopoly. You don't believe it creates a monopoly. But here's the thing. The current party chair is a lobbyist for the hemp industry, which stands to benefit if this amendment goes down. Is that a conflict of interest? Is that something that would have been done when you were GOP chair?
Listen, I'm not going to talk about the current chair on that specific issue. All I'll talk about is the fact that the bottom line on this, it's about safety, it's about access. Do people have access right now? I say that they do. 2 million people, you get it from the illicit markets, and it's about trying to make sure that people have access to a safe product that's not laced with fentanyl and other products that are killing people, and we stop jailing people for minor possession of marijuana.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to take a break here. Why can't we grow at home? Why is there home grow? Where is home grow in this? And what about all this smoke? Is the entire state going to smell like marijuana? Well, some people think it will. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us.
My pledge is, as president, I will work on decriminalizing it, because I know exactly how those laws have been used to disproportionately impact certain populations, and specifically black men.
The issue of marijuana on the national stage, with both presidential candidates coming out and staking their positions, and it's fascinating, but I want to continue and focus on the debate here on Amendment 3. Welcome back. Before I talk about smoke, before I talk about home grow, the point that she raised, the point that you raised, Joe, at some points too, about how this has an adverse effect on particularly minority communities and young people get arrested. In doing, again, research for this debate, I noticed that many states that have passed recreational marijuana, like Massachusetts, for instance, also included then legislation the following year to expunge criminal records of people who were convicted of these types of crimes. Would you be willing to, do you think the legislature, would you sponsor a law that would offer expungement on those marijuana charges from the past?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you showed the Kamala Harris ad. I'm glad you showed President Trump talking about it, because in reality, this is a nonpartisan issue. You have the leaders of both major political parties that are in favor of Amendment 3. You have conservatives like Donald Trump, myself, Sheriff Gordon Smith. You have the Florida Democrat Party, you have the Florida Libertarian Party. A lot of support. Right. This is the common sense Florida issue.
I want to. Again, I know you come at it from a science standpoint, from a medical addiction standpoint, but on the issue of social justice and the disparity, what is your argument that why we should keep it criminalized?
Well, so this is probably the one thing that Joe and I will agree on is I absolutely agree that there should be some sort of criminal justice reform, hands down. But again, I would then want to look at and how are we being disingenuous when we're saying 16,000, which out of the populace is what, 0.00, you're the math guy, not me. And then I'd want to look at were they coupled with other crimes, et cetera? So it's very disingenuous to say that there's all of these people that are being arrested for simple possession of marijuana. It's just simply not happening.
Well,
do we need criminal justice reform? Absolutely. However, we talk about young people. This is for 21 and up. There's still going to be underage that are viewed underage that are getting in trouble for possession of marijuana.
I want to jump in because I don't want to. I want to go to homegrown.
Okay.
So again, you're the legislator. Are you willing to sponsor? Because what I understand is that they couldn't include homegrown in this because there are multiple language. You only has to be one issue. Will you offer legislation that would allow somebody in their home to maybe have 5 or 6 plants for their own personal use?
Yeah, great question. And Amendment 3, by passing it, that's the first step to get home grow. And yes, I would personally sponsor a bill to allow that. I've talked to supporters of this bill. They think it's a complementary product. It's a winner. You can only, in these constitutional amendments, you could only have single issues. That's why home grows are in there.
I want to bring you in because we only had a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Talk about home grow.
For sure. And they're hiding behind and they're lying about single subject because, first of all, they didn't do it. They didn't write cultivate in for individuals and then it got kicked back by the Supreme Court. It's simply not true. They didn't write it. They wrote in the word cultivate when referencing the industry. They did not write in cultivate when referencing individuals. So when you write this bill, this fantasy bill that we haven't seen yet, it's going to get turned down because it will not be consistent with the language of the amendment, period. That's how constitutional amendments and implementing bills and bills work, and you know this, so I wish you would be honest about how the process works.
I'll give you a chance.
I'm being honest. I'm a senator. We will write the bill. We will pass it. And of course, there's not 2 subjects in the same bill, the amendment, because it would have been rejected. That's why you haven't seen it.
They never
and
tried.
You know that. You can't have it. That's the Constitution says you can only have these amendments with single subjects.
But it's
That's
fascinating
the bottom line.
that they put all of these things in for themselves and then they didn't for individuals. So you can't say it's single subject when they wrote all of these things in for themselves, but not for individuals.
It's legalizing adult use recreational marijuana.
It's a fallacy, Joe.
All the regulations, which we're going to have the Florida way regulations, strong guardrails. We're going to take away public consumption. Hopefully no smoking in public. Zero tolerance when it comes to driving.
All right,
we're going to do all these great things, but we're going to pass Amendment 3.
I got to cut you both there. I got to thank both of you for coming in. This was lively, livelier than I thought, and it's great. Now, once again, I want to remind folks that you still have until the 24th for absentee ballots, and this Sunday, Facing South Florida will be on for an hour. As a matter of fact, for the next 3 Sundays. So please join us. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.